As soon as tomorrow, so less than 24 hours from now, we could see Nicolás Maduro and his wife make their first court appearance in New York City. We showed you that detention center where he's being held now in Brooklyn. He's facing multiple criminal charges here in the U.S. Narco-terrorism conspiracy, the importation of a whole lot of cocaine, conspiracy on that front, multiple gun charges as well. You can see them here all laid out in that sweeping indictment that accuses Maduro of essentially partnering with cartels to initiate this massive drug trafficking conspiracy. I want to bring in, for more, our Chief Justice and National Affairs correspondent, Kelly O'Donnell. So with that stage set, Kelly, for tomorrow, we saw action for almost 18 hours straight yesterday. The capture, the attack on Venezuela, the capture of Maduro, his extraction back to the United States, him landing at that airport in New York, choppering to New York City, all of that. Today, he is behind closed doors. Tomorrow, that may change.
So really, you set that up in a beautiful way, because the extraordinary cinematic events that were high stakes and high danger that led to his arrest and capture will now be followed by a far more predictable process inside the United States justice system. A figure of the world notoriety, such as Maduro, certainly will continue to draw a great deal of attention to that holding facility in New York, which has a very negative history of being dangerous and not well maintained, but poor conditions for those that are there. So that's its own story. And certainly security around Maduro will be significantly important, because there have been many instances of violence in that facility. Again, he's high profile. They are accustomed to high profile detainees. And that is certainly the case with Maduro and his wife. A 25-page indictment has been returned, and that is part of what you have here. You outlined the four major charges. Now it becomes a part of a much more predictable justice system, where the United States will try to, through the court system, hold Maduro and his wife accountable. There are others who are named in this indictment who have not been captured inside Venezuela, and we don't yet know what will happen with them, including some members of the government. The overarching theme here is that Maduro was interacting with the drug cartels to profit, to line his pockets and those in his regime by clearing the way for the kind of drug running, and that included guns and obviously extensive trafficking of drugs and other kinds of crimes related to that. And the government will have to now prove that case. This is the second indictment. There was one in 2020 as well. This one has been updated to include some additional specifics about his wife, who was a formidable person in the government as well, not just the spouse, but had her own career in the government. So tomorrow we expect potentially the first appearance. He's not required to put in a plea, but it just begins what will be a very long process that, of course, holds very serious penalties for Maduro and his wife.
And Kelly, can you help us understand just nuts and bolts, getting granular here? You talk about the procedural process that will now play out in many ways predictably. Does that mean Nicolás Maduro is going to get a defense attorney, right? Do we know who that person may be? I assume it will be somebody who's publicly appointed at first, but I don't know, Kel.
Well, we're waiting to find out who that is, and that's part of the process. So there's a time clock running on since his detention to his first appearance, so that sort of fuels the need to get this going. Of course, tomorrow's the first day back in sort of regular business post-holidays, so that leads itself to being what you would expect the government to be ready for this. This indictment was sealed, but it happened earlier, so prosecutors are prepared with next steps. It is an interesting question about counsel, because, of course, he's had access to immense resources in his role for which he's being charged, and then he's got to have counsel that is licensed in New York, so we'll have to see what happens with that. But there will be a team of prosecutors, and certainly going up against the Department of Justice is always formidable for any defendant, and this one being so high profile. So among the questions will be, will his counsel challenge the way he was detained? So many things like that will be issues that will play out in the days and weeks to come.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or watch live on our YouTube channel.